You see the recording?
Yes. Awesome. Well, hello and good evening to you all today. Welcome to Mommies Money. My name is Laura Beaton, and I'm lovely to be beside your host for Mommies Money. As always, we are so excited to be here today because we will be discussing Father's Day. We are going to be recognizing dads today because Father's Day is coming up on Sunday. We talked last week about Juneteenth, which is this Saturday. So hopefully you all have some awesome plans for that. And again, we're going to be talking about our fathers, but before we get into that, let's take care of a few housekeeping things. Our mission here at Mommies Money, we are in pursuit of excellence and the breaking of generational curses by empowering women and mothers through financial education to ensure a better future. Sorry if you guys hear my dog in the background. That's what happens when you're live, right? But here at Mommies and Money, we want you to win financially, right? We want you to have fun with us. We want to hear from you. We would love for you guys to send us some more ideas or conversations that you want to have. This is an open book. We are open books here. And we're judgment-free zone. So if you have an opinion, we want to hear it. If you have a topic, we want to know about it. Also, again, if you want to connect with us, you can email us at wearephoenix17@gmail.com. Phoenix is FENIX. Catch us every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. and our male counterparts, Fathers and Finance, on Tuesday evenings at 6:30 p.m. And we also have Singles and Soaring every fourth Saturday at 8 p.m. There we go. We have, I think I got everything. Tanisha, did I get anything?
I think you did. I think you did a fantastic job. I think I got everything.
So let's jump right into it. Father's Day, yay!
Father's Day, and you're talking to like everyone out there. Like I'm probably like one of the biggest daddy's girls out there, so we all know
yes,
that.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love your dad.
He's so great. He's so great. So I just want everybody to know, like, let's just get some background history because I know our brothers did actually talk about Father's Day on Tuesday, and they're all four of them are fathers. But did you guys know that there is 70 million fathers in the United States?
I did not know that.
Probably a little bit more, but I'm thinking they said it's 70 million fathers. So how Father's Day even came to be, the first Father's Day was celebrated on June 19th, 1910 in the state of Washington, right? But it was not until like 1972, about 58 years later, that I think it was after, oh crap, I forgot which president it was. I think it was President, well, my dad's trying to drink pop without me knowing if I hear him.
Pop. Aww. Where you from, girl? No, just
oh,
in the Midwest.
We are from the Midwest. It wasn't until President Woodrow Wilson, I'm pretty sure, made Mother's Day official, which was 58 years later. And then the day that honoring fathers was actually right around the corner. So it became a nationwide holiday for everyone in the year 1972. So that was great. Pretty much they celebrate Mommy's Day first, and that inspired Father's Day because, you know, somebody's dad was like, it's not fair. It's not fair. Somebody was out there with a dad. Like, what you mean? You get your day, but we don't have a day for ourselves. So I'm really excited for this. But yeah, Father's Day is definitely.
It's so funny you say that. I saw a meme, like Mother's Day compared to Father's Day. Mother's Day is like a lavish trip or a yacht, and you know, champagne and strawberries, and then the guy, his picture is of him barbecuing his own meal.
Because that's all really dad really wants. It's just like, don't ask him for
Barbecue.
anything. Give
Right,
dad
just
money
leave
because
him
he's been
alone.
paying for you. Like, let him watch TV. He wants to barbecue. Like,
Buy him a gift and just leave him be.
and dads probably get like, most dads get like socks and ties and like t-shirts and stuff. And so most of the time they're probably like, you don't do any of this stuff for your mom because moms go through the pain of the labor part while dad's holding the hand.
Right. But dad does, collect all of those sympathy pounds, right? During
The sympathy pounds that come
he
in.
gains the weight too. That's really funny. Ladies, we gotta do a little better and celebrate our fathers. We can celebrate our men and our fathers.
I think it's more so like there's a lot of people out there that probably think like we have a lot of things that's going on when it comes to one, just fathers and period. They don't get a lot of celebrating. They don't get a lot of celebration. So that's why I feel when it comes down, I feel like, it takes two. So it's a mom and a dad, right? Like it takes two to sit there and make the thing go right. Right. So so I'm thinking like you kind of like you have like give your mom a big hug. You should also give your father a big hug because frankly, even if he is in your life or he's not, there's always going to be some type of figure that's in your life that you consider a dad or a father like figure. So I think that most people need to sit there and just, hey, just know that we don't forget about you. If I can sit there and take my dad to Antarctica or Africa or whatever, I would definitely do it. He deserves it just as much as my mother did. So like, I wouldn't be here without either one of them. So I definitely like to make sure I celebrate at least both of them. And my dad just turned 75. So that was a big thing for him and for me because it's like history all rolled up into a body.
I didn't even think about, we should have posted our dads on here today.
I think I can still do that. Oh, I can at least show you guys what dad looks like. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys
find me a picture. I don't, I had to get a new phone and then I also had to, maybe I can steal one off of Facebook. How about that? Look.
Steal one off of Facebook.
It's such a millennial thing to do.
Let's go back on my social media and find a picture of my father. Like, let's just do that. But I think that a lot of people just forget. Because a lot of people forget. Like, it's not just like dad's always like the big job that dads are supposed to do. Like now, I'm not trying to sit there and say we're gonna go traditional routes or gender roles, but dads are like pretty much the providers. They always want to make sure that you're okay before they think that they're okay. Like most of the time, I can remember so many times my dad's probably like bailed me out, like bailed me out of everything. Like, Dad, I can't do it. I don't know what's going on. And he's like, baby girl, I got it. I'm gonna help you out. And he's given me the advice throughout the years. And he's given me like, when it came to like boyfriends, when it came to school, when it came to just having conversations with people, his biggest thing was always listen and you can kill people with kindness. And if something is frustrating, like a lot of stress can come into your life, but some things you just let roll off your back like it's water. So, dad's always just been there for me. And that's just Papa Bear. That's just how it is when it comes to him. I'm always thinking like, Dad, he didn't have to do it. That's a lot of things, like a lot of things that dads just didn't have to do. Like I've always remember that part. I don't know. Remember that comedian? I know, not remember that comedian, Chris Rock, right? So Chris Rock was he was, and it's like one of his stand-ups that he had, and he was like, moms always get these, like, I always love my mama, mama, and like all these songs that moms have, and then he's like, what does dads get? Dad, Papa was a Rolling Stone. I swear,
they always did say Papa's Mama's baby, Papa's maybe.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, he was not wrong for that. He was not like, dads don't really have a song. And then so like when it comes down to, making sure that we celebrate dads, like there's things that I know fathers come out and their main job is to make sure that they take care of their family and take care of their wives. So I just have to give a big shout out for all of them. I just pulled a lovely Laura, and I had to go to my Facebook, which was faster for me to sit there and find. Hey, so leave it alone. But ladies and gentlemen, that is my father, as well as my brother.
Looking
That was like
cool.
how many years ago? I could not tell you, but like, yeah, the man turned 75. He was born. This is 2013. So it was probably how many years ago? Like 8 years ago. So just with that little snippet, like my dad has always just been, he's always been the man in my life. So that's the one who I got to compare to whoever's gonna come into my life. The love that I get from my father, I'm gonna expect from you. Anyone out there that is single, you think I'm cute, just give you a heads up. You gotta compare to my father.
Oh,
Make sure you get his approval. Dad comes first.
The dad carry around the shotgun, so y'all better come correct. Okay,
like,
just saying.
Like,
well, since you showed a picture of your dad, let me show a picture of mine. Hold on, let me go get him.
Let me go get him. So everyone out there, Laura's getting her dad, not live, but she's going to go get her dad. And
right. Let me go bring up his picture. Here's my dad. That's Patrick.
Oh, you look just like him.
I know. A lot of people. I got my dad's whole face.
You look just like him. I was trying to figure out, because I know your mom's birthday was on Monday, and I was like, it's so cute. I love your mom, but I was like, oh my God, like,
yeah. It's like so funny because people are like, hey, you look just like your mom. I'm like, not until you see my dad.
Your dad looks like he would. He looks like he would send you a whole bunch of stuff that you wouldn't know about. I'm gonna send you this book. Yeah. I'm gonna send you this information. You need to look this up.
Definitely my dad. Look, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to learn. And he said the same thing we all say when we come into some awesome information. I wish I had known this when I was your age or younger, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's definitely my dad. And in his older age, I ain't even gonna call him old.
He's not.
But I usually I'll kind of tease him a little bit. But in his older age, he's a little more seasoned now. He is passing down a lot of wisdom and a lot of financial wisdom as well. And that's when he talked about, I wish I would have been a little bit more knowledgeable about this stuff when you guys were growing up. That way y'all can already have this in place. And so, I mean, I appreciate that from my dad because, he knows now and he's still trying to instill it. Being a parent, you never stop. Being a dad, you never stop providing. You never stop giving that advice. And so I appreciate my dad for that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get down to because we know daddy's girls, right? So when it comes to dads, what would you think, with all the stuff that they want us to sit there and know at a certain age or by a certain time because they didn't do it, and now they want to sit there and think about it and what they want for us. What's one thing that stood out to you when it comes to your father? What that one thing that has always been instilled in your head that would never go away ever that he has done?
That he has done
or has said to you?
Shown me or taught me. Well, I will say this. There's one thing that he taught me early on that I will never forget. And it doesn't have anything to do with finances or anything like that, but it does have to do with relationships. And I remember having, I think I was in middle school, high school, maybe high school age. I had a friend. We were really, really close, like sisters. We would fool people all the time. He's like, hey, this is my sister. Hey, whatever. And something happened, people just grow apart. It's fine. Where we just were no longer friends anymore. And he said to me, people are going to come and go. And you'll be lucky if you have one friend your entire life. So don't be upset when people leave your life, when people come into your life for a season and then leave your life. You know what I mean? And I was like, that makes so much sense. You know, if I
She
being
said,
what 17, 18 years old, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, and you know, I took it to heart because it's very, very true, you know, and that goes along with, you know, romantic relationships. You know, people will come and go. So I never fret when people do exit my life. I don't have like that separation anxiety or that hurt or that anger towards somebody. You know, it is what it is, and I'm okay. You know, you're okay, I'm okay. And so, I mean, that's one thing that he definitely instilled in me that I will never forget. And another thing, obviously, is, you know, make sure you have your relationship with God, you know,
so
and pray, and you know, the power of prayer and the power of the tongue and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, man. I mean, I just at the time growing up, I always thought my dad was so hard on my brother. Like, man, he was tough, you know. Oh, don't speak like that because, you know, when you become an adult, you have to be able to articulate your words, and you know. And I'm like, what? You know, just a lot of stuff that he would instill in us, drill into us. I didn't understand then, but I get it now. And
right.
it's funny because the stuff that he said to me then is what I say to Aaron. Though I'm not a drill sergeant to Aaron, I do catch myself like, oh shoot, I sound like Patrick. let me calm down for a second. But I find myself, you know, saying the same type of things and realizing that one day, hopefully, Aaron will understand the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I may sometimes be a little hard on him, but it's because I want him to do better or to be better.
Right.
So
Right.
I have a good example. I would say I had a great example.
Okay, had a good example. So, because you know, like right now in 2021, we have a lot of angry women who are mad at their baby daddies, and they want to sit there and keep, you know, doing a lot of negativity. But I can't sit there and say really anything negative about my father at all. Like my dad has been nothing but a positive little ray of sunshine and a rainbow in my life. Even when I feel like I don't deserve his love, this man was like, I'm in your life. I'm going to be that person for you. So like, I'm like, okay, okay. Um, I think the reason why I started saving money at the age of 8 years old, my dad. I remember getting my allowance and I didn't know what to sit there and do with it. My dad was like, well, we're going to open a savings account for you so you know how to sit there and like save. And he always told me, he's like, whatever happens, just even if you have $5, $10, $15, whatever you can do, just put it into your savings account. And so like my emergency fund really started off because of him. Because I had no idea how to sit there. Like when I was about to go to college, I was like, oh, I have like this much money. He's like, don't you use all that money. He's like, don't
That's
you use
how I
all
with
that money?
Aaron.
Like he's like, don't you use all that money? So because of him, like that's the reason why like saving is such a big issue for me. So it's crazy because I just realized like getting older, like the wealth curve that we talk about, like it just now came to me like probably like last year or so of understanding the wealth curve. And I'm 36 now. And I'm like, 36 years old, I should probably have known what the wealth curve was. But again, a lot of us don't know what the heck's going on when it comes down to the wealth curve because no one actually teaches us about money. But our first teachers are usually our parents, right? So the emergency fund was already there, established. I just didn't have any idea what to do with the protection or the debt management or the investment piece and who to sit there and talk to. But my dad, I'll actually share my screen with you guys and show you. So that whole thing, when it comes down to, let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Let's see if I can expand this. Yeah, let's just do this. There he goes. All sorts of biggins for everybody out there. Big, that sounds horrible. Biggins.
That's country for sure.
But like that law, like see that law of decreasing responsibility. So at a young age, my dad always taught me to sit there and at least be able to save whatever I could sit there and save. Like now being older, I now know that we have to sit there and save at least 10 to 15% of our income. Like even if you can't sit there and do that right away, at least start somewhere and work your way up. So like we tell a lot of our, our clients when we have presentations or whatever, at least be able to save 5 to 10%. When you can go bigger, you can, but at least start somewhere. And a lot of us don't know where to actually start. So with me having my first savings account before, I didn't know what it was called. It was a credit union. I remember my first checks. I had to sit there and get I got check. I had a little checkbook so I could do my checks and balances. It had a dinosaur on it, and so I remember that it had a green dinosaur on it. And at that tender age of 8 years old, or 9, I learned that, like, when you get older, you're gonna have a lot more, like, you're gonna have responsibilities, but you take care of them when you're younger, like, making sure you have things in place, like, regardless if you're doing investments, regardless if you're, you have, if you have debt, just don't have a whole bunch of debt where you're like overwhelmed and you don't know how to sit there and get yourself out of it. But you want to be able to take care be able to take care of yourself or your family. And that's why I think that he had played a major role in. So, so when I get to the point where I'm 45, 50, 60, 55 years old, I want more wealth, be able to build up so I could be able to take those times and have the lavish retirement that I want to have. And I say lavish, which means that I really just want to be able to just sit on a beach and not do anything, just listen to the ocean. But
that's right.
that's just on me. But when it comes down to this, you want to make sure that, like, when we're younger, we don't really know exactly what we're doing, but we want to at least be able to start somewhere. So make sure that, when you just make sure that you want to be able to create your wealth or start your way of being able to create that for later. Because most fathers, if I'm not wrong, which you can sit there and say if I am, most dads don't want their child to grow up the same way they grew up, but they want to make sure they have a better life. So I think that with me, that was my biggest takeaway, was to make sure that I take the lessons he's taught me and I apply them with the knowledge I'm learning here or with the campaign, and I actually express them and I keep going and making sure that whatever family I decide to create later on, or whichever happens to, like, my nieces, will be okay. So a lot of things like that, like establishing a trust over my dad and my mom and creating that legacy and making sure that I take that responsibility and make sure I build upon that legacy. So that is a main factor for me as of right now. So yes, daddies out there, when you think that that little girl is holding on to your finger, you don't realize that you're the only man that she's going to love completely unconditionally forever and ever and ever and ever. And that you'll always be that main like that main guy that she'll always go to for information, or she just wants to be able to talk to you about things, regardless if it's boyfriends or your love life, or if it's school, or if it's just like a I can't say the word now. Philosophy. What's the word? Philosophical. There it is. I couldn't get it out for the life of me. Like, I was there, like, it's in my mind, but it's not coming out. So, like, when you have those, like, even if you have questions like that.
Your dad is like the first man. He's the first example of how a man should love you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, right. I think, well, for me, more so recently, my dad, it's funny because I looked back before I got married. Twice he's actually made mention of, let me do this first before a man comes and does it. So he bought me a gold necklace. And he said, let me be the first man to buy you something valuable before another man comes and does it. And then I was dating this guy, and my dad was like, I'm going to take you and Aaron on a family trip before, you actually do get married and have, your full family. So I thought that was so sweet because he's just like, let me be the first. And that to me was showing the example of, your dad is the first man who shows you love, under God, obviously. But it's like, that man, you dads out there, y'all are the first example that your daughter is going to see, and how you treat her determines what she's going to expect.
Right. Say it again. Say it one more time for the cheap seats in the back, just in case people forget. Just in case, because some people out there sitting there like, oh, he ain't nothing, sweetheart. Your child wouldn't be here without him. So regardless if you don't get along with him, regardless if you guys are in love and you guys create a family, create a marriage and you guys get married and stay together, whatever it is, that man definitely puts an impact on every woman's life, regardless, like you
Yes.
sat there and said. So you can say it one more time for the cheap seats in the back that haven't heard it, because they're going to sit there and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Say it one more time, Lord. Just go ahead, say it one more time.
And you know, it goes both ways. Like, it can have a positive or a negative. But then y'all need to realize, when y'all have girls, especially, like, how you treat her is what she's going to expect when she becomes an adult from that man. She's going to see and say, this, my daddy was my example of how a man should love me. And so treat her right. Don't be that absent father. And let's change the narrative of Father's Day. You know, there was a lot of moms in the past, and then it still goes on today. Mothers being told Happy Mother's Day. Don't let her take that shine. You step up, you be that man that your kids need, that your daughter needs. She needs to see that example of what a loving man is supposed to be, so that we won't keep creating single mothers claiming Father's Day. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Because dads have to deal with the fact that they had kids, they have a mortgage, they're trying to make sure they save up for your college, and they have debts they're still paying off. And a lot of people, like I sat there and said, even in that wealth curve that I was showing you as the example, like, all the stuff that we should be taking care of at that point when you're younger. Like, so when you get older, you know your children are going to move out, your mortgage is going to be reduced because you've been living there and you're trying to pay it off for however long your years are fixed, or, how many times that, how many kids you actually have just depends. And imagine we had like 12 kids, they all want to go to college. I'm pretty sure, dad's not going to be able to sit there and just be able to work. Well, dad could be, Superman at this point in time, but he could work like 2 or 3 jobs just to make sure, like, I have something put away for my children when they go to college. Or, they could talk, if we meet somebody like that, talk about the college coaching program, whatever it is, make sure you talk to them about the responsibilities, because that's pretty much what's going on in dad's heads. I've realized fathers are like, they might sit there like, oh, I gotta get 4 new tires for the car. Oh, well, baby girl might end up needing this. Even when they become grandpops, and you have Aaron. So when they become grandfathers, what they did to us, not gonna happen to that grandbaby. It doesn't happen. Just bypasses everything. That child is going to see a whole other person that we didn't see when we were growing up. So
I'm talking about, hilarious that you say that, because my dad's dad, that was my papa man, right? And he called me his Laura girl, and I said, you my papa man. And my dad and some of his siblings would, oh, your papa wasn't like this with us. And I'm like, that's because I'm young, obviously he's gonna treat me better. I'm just kidding. But no, it is a difference, because I see it with my dad and Aaron. And in his eyes, Aaron can do no wrong. No wrong. And when I'm calling him like, Aaron is doing this, doing that, so, back in the day when you and your brother would do this, that, and the other, don't be so hard. I'm like, you've gotten a little soft. He goes, yeah, I know. That's what old age will do to you. I'm like, he's definitely gone soft. Because I'm like, give me something else other than let him off the hook, because that ain't gonna
happen. He was that. And like we said, like, I can piggyback or horseback ride to whatever you just sat there and said, like a horseback ride. It's just, it's different. And I know that, like, I know my dad will be the cutest grandfather ever, like, ever. But
so cute already.
He's already adorable. Like, he's so precious. He's so precious. So I can only imagine, like, how he would be as a grandfather. Because his father, that's how me and my cousin Eric got close, because my grandfather, when he passed away in 1988. That was, I was 3 years old. But you know how, like, when you're a kid, you don't have certain memories, or you can still kind of remember, but you really can't. You really start remembering a lot of things till, like, that point. But I remember being 3 years old and being at my grandfather's funeral, my grandpa Ben's funeral, and Eric was holding me. My brother was not holding me, but my cousin Eric was holding me the whole entire time. That was my first memory, was my grandfather's funeral. My first memory. I still remember the dress and everything. I was wearing a green velvet dress with a gold bow, and it was really cute. I was precious, with a gold bow with some white stockings. Okay, some white
Yes,
stockings
white
and
stockings.
some patent leather or some patent leather shoes. So
My shoes.
yeah, the patent leather. Yeah, you already know what they look like. So I had those
Oh,
on,
they
and my cousin,
80s.
Yeah, my cousin Eric was holding me down, but like my dad was making sure that one, that I was okay, and two, his mother was okay, three, his family was okay. My dad was making sure everyone was okay, and I don't think anybody's even checked up on dad. And so I was like, that's the tender age of 3. And my mom's father, my grandpa Esau, I was I was gonna say it out loud, guys. Like I'm out here, but I love my dad, and I love my grandfathers, but I was spoiled to a certain extent. It wasn't it wasn't spoiled with the whole money thing. I didn't get anything at all I wanted. That never happened. But when it came to unconditional love, oh, they had it in the bag. Like, didn't matter. Like, if I wanted a snow cone, they're gonna get me a snow cone. Okay, like that's how it was. If I wanted like a bag of gummy bears, I'm gonna give me a bag of gummy bears. Like that's pretty much what happened. If I wanted to sit there, like even when I could take a nap, like Grandpa would just sit there and he'd rock me, or he'd just sit there and he'd take me a ride in his car, his Cadillac, and he'll just drive around until I fall asleep. Little things like that. So yeah, I have huge expectations of, not huge expectations, but I do have huge expectations of how a man's supposed to treat a woman, because I've literally seen 3 relationships growing up. My grandparents on both sides and my parents, and it was just the love that they had for each other, and making sure my grandfathers took care of my grandmothers, and my father took care of my mother and took care of us. And then like that's how I saw love there and actually flow into our family. It wasn't just like, oh well, I can't do it, or somebody was abusive, or they were talking smack to each other, but they still like high fived each other and make sure they held each other down. So it was like, we had a very funny family. Everybody always had a story. Like I remember my grandmother told me that my grandfather almost burnt down the house, and she had to pour milk on my
Oh,
mom's
wow.
siblings. Like, like I was like,
Oh no.
you saw that? I didn't know that. So I remember my mom told me that story, and my auntie verified it. I was like, so that story is true? She was like, yeah, that story is true. Your grandma damn near, your grandpa almost killed us. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So we all make mistakes, people. Okay. Dads make mistakes, moms make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. You just have to learn how to like sit there and forgive. So that's the one thing I love about the family aspect of it. But when it comes down to,
You mentioned. I'm sorry. Not to
go
cut
ahead.
you. Oh, okay. You mentioned something that struck a chord with me. You said you had
What
2
chord did I strike?
examples.
Was it
Just
the
haven't
A,
seen.
B, C, F, G?
So silly. But you talked about having examples in your life of just relationships, and so I say all of that just to bring light on the fact that I had, well, my parents got divorced when I was younger. So I had an example up until that point, but I also had aunts and uncles who had stayed married, and I had my grandparents, um, who was the example of marriage and how a man loves a woman and all of that good stuff. But I encourage the families that are separated, especially dads, fight for your kids, because don't let anybody spin your narrative. Don't let anybody tell your kids that you don't want them, that you're not there for them, that you don't love them. Like just because you and mom don't work out does not mean that you can't be a part of your child's life. It's so important. Even though my parents didn't stay together, my dad was still in my life. You know what I mean? He didn't miss a beat, even at the times where I didn't live in the same state. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I know a lot of men don't want to deal with mom baby
You
mom.
ain't gotta deal with
I
them.
hate saying that. I hate saying that.
You don't
Your
have to deal with
child's
them.
mother.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's my issue. Like if it doesn't work out, it
Yeah,
doesn't work out. But what you just sat there and said, don't let that influence the child. Like make sure you know that child is supposed to be
exactly.
loved. It's two of you. It made two of you guys had to sit there and bump together
You're so silly. I can't. That bump.
to make you know what I'm saying, to make this child. So like no, just be co-parenting should not be a hard thing. Now, regardless if you guys don't get along, you still have to be able to, if you're not going to be in that child's life, especially if you're not going to be in that child's life, just let the mom or at least let the dad know, like, hey, I'm not going to be 100%. Like I may not be that person. Like I might see my child like once a year, like whatever it is, but at least whatever it is, like let that child shouldn't be like sit there thinking wondering, you know. So that's go
But
ahead. I'm
just
sorry.
be there. I mean, like, show up. Like, even if she's crazy and she's withholding the child, take her to court. I mean, ladies, stop being vindictive and using your kids against these men, especially the ones that want to be there. Don't close that door because, like she said, it took two, right, to make this
Takes two to
child.
make a
So
thing go right.
get it. But no, like, who is it hurting? It ain't hurting you. It's hurting your
Right.
child. And then
Right.
you're bringing your child up, and then when they become an adult, they're gonna function in that same dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or it could, be better. They could say, "Hey, I don't want to be anything like this," and then they do better. But give your child a chance. Give your kid a chance.
And when you even
Sorry for going
even
off on that tangent.
even if you don't give your if you I mean not don't but if you give your child a chance, that means, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you start a savings plan that's going to sit there and actually help their money grow while you have this child that's in this world and you want them to have a better life than you. Then don't put their money into a savings account. Put their money into an account that's actually going to grow with that money that you put into it. You want compounded interest for your kids because they're just all they're doing is growing up. You have to provide for them anyway. So if you're going to provide for them the money that you want to save for them, hell, put it in IUL. You okay? Yeah. Okay. Put it in IUL. Put it, have your money sit there growing for that child. So when that child gets 18 years old, they get 24 years old, they get 33 years old, they get 41 years old. They don't have to sit there and be like, hey, Dad, can I borrow $10,000 to put down on the house? Hey, Dad, can I sit there and then I might need 15,000 for such and such, or I want to shop. You have something already for them. So yes, I will sit there and I will always express having something for your children, making sure there's something in place for your kids. One, because you want to have the protection need, but two, you want to have a place where your money is going to grow for that child. You do. If we all know something, we know inflation is not going nowhere. And it's already predicted that by the year 2030, going to college is going to cost you under at least $500,000, period. At least up to 300,000. At least up to 300,000. And the way that these things are going to keep growing, and the fact that the national debt is at 1.8 trillion. I'm not even sure it's even after trillion. So let's just, I'm not sure it was even after trillion, but let's just not get to that point. I don't want my kids being in debt. I don't want my kids having college debt. I don't want them to even think about student loan debt. Like
the crazy thing is, your child is an adult. They're still going to be your child. You're still going to want to help them. You know what I mean? Like, your job as a parent doesn't stop just because they turn a legal age. I mean, those of you who are good parents, at least, that don't cut your kids off like, okay, you 18, go on, be about this. I done did my job. No, doesn't stop at 18. No. Doesn't stop at 21.
It doesn't.
Shoot. I'm 36 and I still be like, hey, Dad, but it's like your job never ends as a parent and you always want to be there. And so building that financial foundation and teaching them how to save, where to save, that's going to benefit them in the long run so that they're not coming to you saying, hey, Dad, on, big things, I get it. And as a parent, you're going to want to do those things anyway. Because I have my parents, they always try to help me with certain things. I'm like, no, just hold it till I need it. You know what I mean? And that's what it ends up being. But, again, it's still like, you definitely want to continue to build that foundation. And start when your child is young. Like my dad said, I wish I had known to do these things when y'all were younger growing up. But it's never too late. It's never too late because he's still trying to at this point, and both of his kids are super grown. So
so how about this? You know what? I'm gonna show the IUL for kids, right? I'm gonna show that. And for all the mommies out there, bless you, all the mommies out there, or all the dads just even listening in, because I know Isaac's out there probably looking at, because he's about to be a grandpa. Hey man, hey, thank you. Like, Isaac's gonna be a grandpa, so he's really excited about being a grandpa. So like, Papa is gonna be super happy when his first granddaughter comes in. So I'm gonna just reintroduce the IUL video so people understand how it works for a brand new baby. But at the same time, though, the IUL video just not goes with a brand new baby. It goes from any child from up to age 18 and then beyond that. But what you want to start when it comes to saving for your children, saving for your child or grandchild or great grandchild for some folks out there, this is where you want to sit there and actually have the money going. So I'm just going to share you guys a little bit, while we're here, me and Laura discussing the big ups for fathers, because I feel like sometimes they have it. They definitely have it. We're daddy's girls, we know. And if our fathers knew about this type of plan when we were born, I don't know where we'd be at right now. So, She said, we're just going to do this. So that's all that is. So I'm just going to share this, guys. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Savvy guy once said, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So you're ready to start saving for your kids' future. You already understand the power of compound interest over time, so you know the sooner you start, the better. So where should you be saving that money? Let's talk about perhaps the most powerful and least known savings vehicle for kids on the market, Indexed Universal Life, or IUL. IUL stands out against all other savings vehicles in one main area of strength: flexibility. Other financial vehicles lock you into what you can use your savings on, but an IUL can be a first car, a college education, a down payment on a house, a wedding. IUL cash value can be used however, whenever, and on whatever you choose. Plus, since it's built on a financial chassis of life insurance, your child is instantly covered with hundreds of thousands of dollars of permanent life insurance with living benefits, simply as a side benefit of utilizing IUL as your choice of savings vehicle. Now don't freak out. The fact that it's life insurance is actually a good thing. Life insurance cash value comes with a ton of unique side benefits, like your cash value being protected from market losses, cash value growing tax deferred and being accessible tax-free, protection from lawsuits, and IUL cash value is not considered in asset calculations when applying for student loans for college. So, what could one of these policies look like for your kiddo? Let's say you had a baby today, and to take maximum advantage of the power of compound interest over time, you immediately start socking away $100 per month into an IUL. Right away, your child is now covered with $371,000 of permanent life insurance coverage with living benefits. That's a pretty nice little side benefit. And that financial foundation you establish for them today will continue to grow with them over the years and be available throughout their lifetime for whatever they need or want to use it for. Plus, if they don't access that money, right around retirement, their IUL is conservatively projected to hit $1 million of cash value. And at age 65, they could turn on a tax-free income stream of $75,000 per year that will last them the rest of their lives, no matter how long they live. The point is, they have options. IUL is the most flexible savings vehicle for children on the market, and the best time to plant that seed is today.
And there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, if the gentlemen are just being out there, I don't care. You guys who watch this show, I'm fine with that. Men are very much allowed to watch Mommies and Money. Some dads out there are moms. Okay. So
exactly.
some dads out there are mommies. So look.
Girl dads.
But regardless, it's the same responsibility regardless. But if you want to save for your child, save in the right spot. The bank's not going to do too much for you. I promise you that little small little interest rate that you think that's going to be like, oh, the bank told me I have like 0.3%. They lying. They lying. They just messing around with your money. Don't do that.
And for you single dads who are paying child support support, this is a good alternative as well to start a savings vehicle like this, a savings tool for your children that's apart from your mom. So just throwing that out there that you don't necessarily, I mean, you can be building on the side as well. Like mom is building on the side, you build on the side, protect your child's money too. For those of you who don't trust your child's other.
We don't need to know all the stuff that's going on, in your lives. But the one thing that I think we all can agree on is just making sure that the child's going to be okay. So that's the one thing we can all agree on. And there's a lot of it's a lot of things it's a lot of things that we have to sit there and to start thinking about now, because we live in 2021 and we don't know what's going to end up happening. But even if you utilize, if you're in it doing investments and you're big on the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency, ask those questions, ask a financial professional, hey, is this going to be transferable? Am I going to be able to transfer this to my child? Is this going to be something? So we have to start asking these questions. You can sit there and tell me all day about Bitcoin and Dodge and all these other things, but if you don't have the answer, if you say, I don't know, which most people can sit there and say, I don't know, then we have to have a backup spot. So please make sure you contact a financial planner. Me or Laura would definitely help you. We have, if you want to sit there and just know exactly where to put your money at, hey, the campaign has been great for all of us, for both of me and Laura. So not only us,
very informative. I mean, we offer workshops that are complimentary, stuff to help you get yourself started, get your financial foundation planted. Utilize these tools because they're here to help you. We want, like I said before, we want you to become financially free. We want you to become your own money manager. Right. Why pay somebody else to take all your money while they're managing it if you can do it yourself?
Right? Ooh, say one more time, Laura. Say one more time. Say it one more time. Say it
you know what? You're going to have to go ahead and play it back. How about that?
Play it back. The whole point, that word if you hear the word compound interest, that's where you want to put your money at. Point blank there. So, hey, Dad, it's like, hey, you may not want to sit there, but you're not even thinking about your child can sit there and come at you like, hey, Dad, you know what I want to do? You're like, what, baby? What you want to do? Right? Well, that's my man voice. Huh? Yeah, babe, what you want to do? What you want, baby girl? And you're like, Dad, I want to become a veterinarian at the best veterinary school. I want to take care of all dogs and horses and pigs and all sorts of animals. Okay, baby girl, you can be anything that you want to be, but Daddy's gonna make sure that you were good and we'll take care of you just fine, okay? You're like, okay, yay, Daddy. Daddy's over here she's probably stressed out. Like, what school she's trying to go to? What's going to happen? This is where you sit there to go into to have the IUL set up. This is that money that you have saving up in there that you're like, oh, I can actually help out. Okay, this is cool. And guess what, dads? Guess what? It's not a part of the FAFSA form. It's actually a non-includable asset. You have to tell them that you have money saved up in the IUL. Hello, questions. Keep talking. Oh yeah, I will. If you read the guidelines of the FAFSA form, trust me, I'll tell you. You don't have to sit there and actually go into it. Like, you don't have to sit there and tell them anything you have in that policy. So hey, Dad, make your life easier. That girl dads, fathers, whatever. You want to sit there and help your child out? There's a very good way without even telling them anything until they pass 18 years old that you've done something like this for them. And they will be more extremely happy to know that you did something like this for them. And then on top of that, they're going to sit there and ask you why you did it. And then that's when financial education comes into play with that, because then you could be able to tell them that, hey, I got put on to something that showed me how to sit there and actually build cash up in a plan that allowed me to have safety, growth, as well as protection for you. So if anything ever happened to you, you will be a-okay. But if nothing happens to you and you're just going to live your life, you have a cash reservoir. You become your own bank. I'm thinking that's a great conversation for any father.
That's a great setup, man, because then it perpetuates the cycle of financial literacy, financial freedom, financial being like your own money manager, like you said already. I do it. I talk to my son about it because have an IUL for him. And I get excited. You know, most people like hating paying bills and stuff like that. But when his money comes out, when it's drafted, I'm excited about it because I know it's going with compound interest. And I'm like, okay, let me build it up for the next year. So it's like, it's an exciting thing for me to know that as a parent, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing for my son. And not only am I doing that, I'm showing him that I'm doing it. That way, when he becomes an adult, he can do it whenever he decides to have his own family. So I was like, because actually it recently drafted. And so I was like, oh, yes, more money is being compounded for him. And so, you know, I don't know. I'm excited about it. When you have it done for you and your family, it's something to be excited about. So.
It's something to be excited about. It's like a peace of mind at the same time. Like, you don't have to sit there and worry about it. Like, there's so many things that we can sit there and talk to you guys about. We only have an hour, but like, there's so many things we can sit there and talk to you about. But like, there's one thing that me and Laura and even Fathers of Finance and the rest of the moms and dads out there, one thing that we all sit there and think about is the fact that these kids deserve better than what we actually can get, what we can give them. So why not give them the world beforehand instead of waiting to the last minute? Because when you wait to the last minute, then it causes extra stress on yourself. It causes extra anxiety. You didn't think about it. Oh, I should have thought about it. I should have done this. The things that our dads have said to us, if I had known then what I know now, that whole statement could be left out. You know why? Because we just got done telling you. We did.
Exactly. Well,
I get angry sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
we digress. We're gonna reel it in. And actually, as we wrap up, I know it's getting a little late. It is time for our Black History fun fact. And since we are talking about Father's Day, I thought it would be fitting.
Black History fact.
I will highlight a guy this time. So let me pull him up. Yes, we usually do women, obviously, because we're Mommies and Money. But today we're talking about
we're a mom in training.
Well, we're not talking about money. We're talking about the men and honoring fathers. So it would be fitting to, I'm not gonna pull up my dad again. I'm going to pull up this gentleman here. There he is. That is Mr. Frederick McKinley Jones. And his claim for this spotlight fame today is, well, let me just back up real fast. In 1938, you're right. 1938, Frederick McKinley Jones designed a portable air cooling unit for trucks carrying perishable food and received a patent for it on July 12th, 1940. He sold his movie sound equipment. So this man right here is awesome, and I'll get to it in a second. But he originally built a transmitter for town's new radio station, for his town's radio station, and he invented a device to combine sound with motion pictures. He eventually sold that off to RCA. I don't know if people are familiar with RCA. RCA, right?
Yeah, that's the video camera. I know exactly what that is. Like, my dad had that video camera.
That's it,
TV company,
right?
TV company, whatever it is. I know my dad had a TV, and we also had probably a VCR and a camcorder. So thank you.
So yeah, he improved the sound equipment, and he eventually, like I said, sold it to RCA. But to his other attributes, he invented this air cooling unit for trucks carrying perishable foods, which later inspired like the AC, the air conditioner, which was invented by somebody else. But because of his cooling unit, that is how we have like refrigerators. I thought that was pretty cool. So now these portable cooling units, they were, like I said before, designed for trucks and carrying perishable foods. And during World War II, it preserved blood, medicine, and food for hospitals and for people on open battlefields. So that was pretty cool and interesting that that contribution was, led to so many great things. And during his lifetime, he was awarded 61 patents. 40 were for the refrigeration equipment, while others went on for portable X-ray machines, sound equipment, and gasoline. So this man was like he was it. He was stuff.
Black man did it. Black
man
man
did it.
magic. Black man did it.
Black people are so awesome. Black men are so awesome.
You can't never say that you can't. Like, you can't never sit there and say you give up on your dream, because you never know what's going to happen. We already know there's a lot of inventors, black women and men, right? But a lot of us did a lot of things back in the day. So you could ever have anybody that you hear say, I can't do it, you could say bull honky. Okay, that is bull honky. Okay, because the reason why we have things that we have today, the reason why you have them old VHS tapes where you're running around looking like, you're collecting, what's some glowworms or like fireflies, and then like, you're catching grasshoppers. Like, look at what I got. Your dad's like recording you, like, okay, that's disgusting, but because somebody was out there was like, we're gonna get this done. So yes, thank you so much, Laura. That was actually awesome. Appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you, Frederick McKinley Jones, for your awesome and amazing contribution to the way we live our life now. And thank you for this AC, because it's hot here in LA.
Girl, you remember that when we would play Super Mario Brothers,
your video froze on me a
little bit. You had that one level where the sun was trying to kill you.
Is it me? Can you hear me?
Back to it. Am I back?
Sorry.
Okay,
now you're back. Oh, okay. Say that one more time.
Well, I'm gonna say, but you remember that part, right? You remember that part, right? Like, you remember like that part of the video game where the sun was trying to kill you in Super Mario Brothers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's happening in Georgia right now. So to give you guys a heads up, that's where I feel like, wow, the sun is not playing no games. But yes, I would. I'm gonna sit there and say this has been a great show. Now join us next Tuesday, ladies. I know it's Mommies Monday, but we have the Mommies Money will definitely be going on next Thursday. But next Tuesday, we'll be doing a collaboration with our brothers, Fathers and Finance, on Tuesday night at 6:30. I can't tell you what the topic's going to be just yet, but if it's Laura and Trevor, it's probably going to be something hot. So I'm just pretty sure we'll be having a great conversation. And I want everyone out there to know, from the mother in training and from the mommy, Laura gets sit there and say, I want to wish all the dads happy Father's Day this Sunday. It is your day. You're allowed to ask what the heck you want to actually ask. You can do what the heck you really want. If you want 4 massages, like, that's totally fine. Take 4 massages. It's not even an issue, right? Like, if you want to sit there, you want to watch all basketball all day, watch basketball all day. Whatever it is, okay? It's your day. Just don't ask us to rub your crusty feet. That's all we're saying.
Wait, if you want to barbecue your own meal, you can go ahead and do that.
Hey, because no one else is not allowed to be on a grill anyway. So I don't know why, but I enjoyed this show. So this is fantastic. Laura, would you like to sit there and close this out?
Hey, there's nothing else left to say, really. Click on this video, like and subscribe to our channel, and come back and visit with us and join the conversation. It doesn't always have to be myself and Tanisha up here. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you personally. So definitely register with us, hop on Zoom with us, and we go live and we'll have a great conversation. But until then, we love y'all and have a good night. Bye.
We are Laura Whedon and Tanisha Steiger, coming at you on the 1s and 2s in the year 2021. Boom. Happy Father's Day, daddies.
Happy Father's Day.